Okay, so it's NBA Finals time. Made several videos on it already, but let's talk about legacy. Yeah, let's talk about what this might mean. Um, and let's talk about why, in spite of the fact that I have almost every reason there is to root for Boston, if you look at things on paper, why I'm rooting for LA. You see, this finals, what we have here is very, very special. It's not like last year when you had we knew who was going to win before it started. Or, even the year before, which was a very fun final, and it was very career altering for a couple of different players. But this finals, it's more than just Boston and LA, and that's big enough in itself. But let's talk about Kobe Bryant for a second. What else can you say about Kobe Bryant? And you've probably read all the stuff there is out there about him. He's mastered the game. It's gotten to that point pretty much. You tell him to shoot from anywhere, and when you see him go up, you have faith that he's going to find a way to get that shot to go down. The threes, the 40-footers, the layups, the dunks, the jumpers, that trademark fadeaway he does in the middle of the paint. He's mastered the game. It's like how after a while when you do something over and over and over, it starts coming to you really naturally. Like, I guess if like when you're playing a video game even, and if you maybe even Guitar Hero, I'll use that as an example. My brother plays that in Rock Band a lot. If you play a song enough, eventually your fingers are just automatically going to know where they need to be. That's what Kobe has gotten to it right now, and I watch him and I think this guy, if he keeps it up, he might go down as the best pure scorer of all time. I definitely consider that a possibility. All time on the all-time list for points scored over a career, he's 24th. And let's say he scores 2,200 points for the next 5 seasons. That's a fairly, conservative estimate. In recent seasons, he's averaged a few hundred more than that, and he might play for more than 5 seasons. In fact, that's quite likely that he could play for 7 or 8. If he does that, he would, if he even goes with my conservative estimate of 2,200 for 5 seasons, he would pass Jordan for 3rd all-time. If he does better than that and plays more seasons than that, and maybe even plays until he's 40, he can pass Malone. So in terms of raw stats, if this guy keeps it up, he's going to become the greatest scorer that this game has ever seen. In points per game, he has a 25-point average. That's 12th all time. That could go up pretty easily. That number is bogged down by his rookie season and some of his early seasons. So that's, Kobe. And we know he can handle the ball. We know he's a good passer, good rebounder, incredible athleticism, good defender, very basketball savvy. And, when you look at a final like this is kind of about legacy to me. Right now, Kobe Bryant is undisputed, well, I would say pretty much undisputed, top 25 player of all time, all around, what he can do with the ball in his hands, without it. And it's not just all about scoring, he can play defense too and do all this. And if the Lakers do win this final, he becomes probably, without thinking too hard about it, I'd put him in the top 12 all time. There are guys you obviously have to put ahead of him at this point, even if he does win the finals and is named finals MVP. Jordan, Chamberlain, Abdul-Jabbar, maybe both Malones. I think Tim Duncan is probably better than him. Robertson, guys like that. Maybe still O'Neal. That's kind of a tougher one. But yeah, I think he would enter the top 12 all time, and where is he going to go from there? It's the Lakers are set up to be very good for a long time. I've gone over it before. Gasol, Odom, and Bynum in the front court, Farmar and Kobe in the back court. That's a 60-win team year in, year out. And then you got off the bench is, Derek Fisher's getting old, but he could stick around for a while and maybe even start over Farmar for a couple more years. You got Vujacic, who's obviously a great downtown shooter. Excuse me. Who else do they got? Radmanovic. I think as a bench player he can do real well. So this is a team that's shaping up to win the championship next year, the year after, and put together a second dynasty. So if Kobe wins another 2 or 3 MVP awards, which is entirely reasonable given he's taking his game to a whole nother level right now, and it could be a little while before anybody gets close to his level, to be quite honest. And we're watching, we really are watching greatness, and I say the same thing about Peyton Manning. I want to see him do well. I want to see him win championships. I want to see him throw touchdowns and break records, because I want to be able to say that, one day that I saw the greatest quarterback who ever played. And if he holds all these records, if he can win more Super Bowls, 1 or 2 more, there's certainly an argument to be made there. Maybe not everyone will agree with it, but if he continues to play the way he does, there will certainly be an argument for it. That's kind of why I want to see Kobe do well. He's obviously not a great human being. I think that much has been made apparent. He has his issues. He's a very poor teammate, and he still is. He still is. You can tell by his body language in this finals. It doesn't matter what Lakers fans say, and they can love him. He's a fantastic player, and sometimes he does what needs to be done. But he's still, and never will be, a good teammate as near as I can tell, and he never has been. It's not as big of a problem as it used to be, but that goes beyond it. And the bad teammate thing, it'll probably keep him from being ever better than Jordan. Nothing he can do. I think the 2004 finals against the Pistons alone kind of cemented that. He's not. I mean, Jordan would never have let that happen. He can't beat Jordan. He'd have to win the next 8 finals and be named MVP in all of them, and then maybe you could get into something like that. But realistically, no. But he has 3 rings already, and in the next few years, he's nearly a mortal lock to claim a Finals MVP, at least one at some point. He should win more MVP trophies. So, his legacy, where to go next year if he wins MVP and the Lakers win the Finals on his shoulders. What happens then? Where do you put him? Top 8, top 6? The Lakers have a second dynasty, and he's, MVP again. Do you put him in the tier with like Jordan and Chamberlain and I don't know, Russell? You put him up there in that top 4, and it could go beyond that. The Lakers obviously won't be able to run forever. There's too much parity in the Western Conference, but I think there's a very good chance they could have a second dynasty, and he's got this great legacy that he can start building now. Several years ago when the Lakers won 3 championships, it was kind of the Shaq show, Kobe and Shaq, but Shaq won the Finals MVP 3 times, and he was kind of the big man on campus. So this is his chance to really cement his legacy, and if the Lakers continue to play as well as they did this year for the next 2-3 years, he can really, really cement his legacy as a top 4, top 3 player of all time. And one day, don't you want to grow up and say to your kids, or some kids, maybe not even yours, that you saw Kobe Bryant play, and those kids could immediately go, oh yeah, one of the top 4 players of all time. That's why I want the Lakers to win this series, because he's already done so much, and there's so much more to go up there. And I want to see that, because we have the rare opportunity to see a transcendent player in his prime, and we know it. So that's what I see there. So that's what I got to say about that side, and there's going to be more.